Albert Einstein's unification of gravity, electricity and magnetism, and time. His theory of everything has finally been discovered. And because this is such a massive discovery, your first inclination is to doubt. And that's why we are happy to prove these facts to you. These are not a coincidence. The following, what you're about to see, has the same chance of being a coincidence as you picking up a grain of sand on a beach just after somebody threw that very grain of sand onto the beach. The following is based on pure mathematics, and even though a lot of comments say that mathematics can lie, mathematics cannot lie. For the last 10 years of his life, Albert Einstein diligently, day and night, searched for the connection between gravity and electricity. And guess what? It has been discovered. And these three equations are the foundation of that scientific unification. Number 1. The acceleration of gravity multiplied by Earth orbit time equals the speed of light. Number 2. Earth orbit velocity squared divided by pi equals the speed of light. And this is your technical equation. Number 3. Earth density squared times 2 tau equals the speed of light. Once again, your technical equation. Now, the one biggest thing that we need to stress is the fact that all of these values are interconnected. Therefore, if one's wrong, they're all wrong. And let us point out that there are two absolutes here that were not originated by us. The acceleration of gravity, 9.8 meters per second squared, and the magnetic field of the Earth, 0.000032 Teslas. Those were both taken from already previously discovered values. Therefore, if you're going to accept those as truth, then you have to accept this whole chart as truth, because all of those values are interconnected. Let's look at here the orbit time of the Earth, 10 or 15 equations. Once again, for all these equations to give the exact same value absolutely cannot be a coincidence. Here we have Earth orbiting the Sun. Values such as velocity of Earth, Earth density, Earth orbit radius, sun pressure, and the pressure of space. 3 different equations. Earth velocity, number 1, Earth velocity squared divided by the velocity of light equals pi. What do you think the chances of that being a coincidence? Oh, for mercy's sake. Number 2, space pressure divided by Earth density divided by the velocity of light equals pi. Number 3, Earth velocity squared multiplied by Earth density divided by orbit radius times acceleration of gravity equals pi. Are these a coincidence? NOT. To understand why they're not a coincidence, this fancy little apparatus is called a Galilean thermometer. At a specific temperature of that main fluid, Each individual bubble, which houses a different density, all then rise to their specific level of density within that main fluid. Now, here's a couple more equations. Earth orbit radius equals Earth orbit time multiplied by Earth density. The speed of light equals the acceleration of gravity multiplied by Earth orbit radius divided by Earth density. And it is right here that you need to understand Einstein's biggest mistake. Albert Einstein put the speed of light on the throne of physics calculations. The speed of light does not belong there. On the throne of physics calculations is the speed of gravity. And gravity is quantum particles raining into the earth at high velocity. Quantum particles warping space-time as they rain into the earth and push us down. Gravity is absolutely a pushing force of quantum particles raining into the earth. And pushing gravity is the origin of everything else pertaining to unification. Pushing gravity is the origin of electricity. Pushing gravity is the origin of magnetism. Pushing gravity is the origin of time. And let us prove that to you. Here are more than 30 equations giving us the speed of light. But more than that, they are 30 equations giving us the king of all physics calculations, the speed of gravity. The speed of gravity that flows into the earth, giving us magnetism. Here is a magnet. A magnet is nothing more than a piece of metal with its atomic lattice being altered by electricity to enable gravity to flow through it in only one direction. As gravity, hyperquantum particles flow through this piece of metal, according to the Bernoulli effect, they create magnetism. You can see on the top there, north against south pole, giving us an attraction as the hyperquantum particles flow through the two magnets. The middle diagram gives us magnetic repulsion as the quantum particles push against each other, and also the bottom diagram gives us south to south pole magnetic repulsion as the particles push against each other. This flow of hyperquantum particles into the earth, you can see here going through the magnets, gives us electricity as the rotor accelerates against that flow of gravity. The particles push the free electrons on that rotor into a wave, giving us electric current. To understand electricity much better, we need to understand that these SI units of electricity, the common ones used today, are archaic, barbaric. They are a hindrance to man's understanding of electricity. These are the electrical SI units we need to be using. based solely on Einstein's E equals mc squared, where c is broken down to acceleration and time. These SI units make electricity so easy to understand. And two that we can highlight right now are the Tesla, which is 1 divided by velocity. And if you take the Earth orbit velocity, 1 divided by Earth orbit velocity gives us the magnetic field of the Earth in Teslas. And the second one is the volt. Just remember that a volt is nothing more than the calculation of distance, AZ squared. Now, when it comes to understanding electricity, there are 2 parts. Number 1, as we saw, the rotor accelerates against the flow of quantum pushing gravity, giving us an electric current. The second part of electricity is based upon these facts here. There's a direct correlation between these 3 levels on Earth. The top level in space is a sphere that is void of space. We need to remember, outer space is not empty. It is filled with hyperquantum particles. If you take all of those particles out of a particular sphere, that then is referred to as an electric potential. And the radius of that void in space, not diameter, the radius of that void in space is the electric volt. Then the middle diagram is a hollow glass sphere on Earth void of air. We can see that is in direct correlation to your void in space. And the third bottom diagram is a tank underwater that is void of water. All these 3 give us an exact representation of electrical potential. When you charge a battery, what you are doing is pushing space apart. And then when that battery or capacitor is connected to a circuit and allowed to flow, the pressure of space then contracts back, pushing free electrons into a wave and giving us an electric current. And what gives us the speed of electricity? The speed of gravity. Earth orbit is electrical. The 3 main factors are Earth density, giving us orbit radius, Earth velocity, giving us the magnetic field of the Earth, and the velocity of gravity, giving us the speed of light and the speed of electricity. Pushing gravity, hyperquantum particles raining into the Earth, gives us magnetism, electricity, and time. And as that pushing gravity moves down to the bottom of the ocean, it not only crushes submarines. When quantum pushing gravity moves down to the quantum level, it becomes the strong force, holding atoms together. There you have it. Unification. Exactly what Albert Einstein died trying to find. And please do not forget the indisputable mathematics.